Hey everybody, it's Mr. Mott. We're going to talk about our good friend the water molecule again. Look at the intramolecular bonds, the bonds that are within them, within one water molecule, and then between two different ones. Okay, so water has this bend structure, and we want to look at the nature of the intramolecular bond. And so we look at the electronegativities of oxygen and hydrogen. And we have those up here on the left. And so you're always taking the big number minus the small number. We get 1.4. You look at the continuum on your electronegativity table, okay, and it says unequal covalent. Unequal covalent means that you have unequal sharing between the oxygen and the hydrogen. Since oxygen has the greater electronegativity, it has the electrons more of the time, so it gets that partial negative charge. Hydrogen gets the partial positive charge. Now, once we do that for one bond, we realize the bond on the right is the same, so we write a partial positive on the hydrogen here. So that's going to sort of tell us that we have a polar molecule, and so this is also sometimes called a dipole. So because it has two poles, partial negative on top and partial positive on the bottom. Where it gets interesting is when you have another water molecule and you look at the bond that exists between them. So the water molecule on the right is going to bond with the other water molecule, and it's going to orient itself like this in space, and it's going to form a bond that is between them. And our root or prefix for that is inter. Inter meaning between. And so we have one water molecule that has a dipole, and we have another water molecule with a dipole. So this bond between them is known as a dipole-dipole. However, this is a very, very strong dipole-dipole, and it is called a hydrogen bond. So there are dipole-dipole bonds, but some of them are hydrogen bonds. And quick, easy way to remember that is phone. Okay, so if it's a hydrogen from one molecule and it bonds to a fluorine, an oxygen, or a nitrogen, then it'll be a hydrogen bond. Okay. So this is a very, very strong bond. This is the bond that's going to break when something evaporates, whether it boils. This strong bond gives water a very high surface tension. So, and it really explains why does water evaporate very slowly compared to hexane. Okay, so a lot of really interesting things that sort of arrive from that. Okay, we're going to contrast that between some hexane molecules. Okay, so with hexane, okay, it's sort of a big, long structure, but here's what it would look like. And we'll go up here at the top. And let's do this actually. So here's our hexane molecule. And so what we do, so yes, it's a big, long hexane molecule. And what we do, again, same idea. The same type of bonds we have are carbon to hydrogen is the majority of our bonds. And we do our electronegativity difference. And then, again, these are unequal covalent bonds. So carbon has the bigger number, so it gets that partial negative. So all your hydrogens are going to get that partial positive. And I wrote all those in there. Now, if we put another hexane molecule next to it, we see that, let's get this on here, there we go. We see partial positives all around the outside. Well, why would the partial positive from hexane be attracted to the partial positive of the other one? The answer, not very much. So this forms a very, very weak attraction. These are called dispersion or London dispersion forces. And it's a very, very temporary type of attraction. This explains why the hexane molecules do not have much attraction for each other. Explains why they evaporate. You can move around that hexane molecule very easily with a toothpick from our lab. And so it explains a lot. All these interactions between the molecules explain these big scale things that we saw in our water versus hexane lab. Okay, so lots of big differences between how hexane reacts and how water attracts. And hopefully this has helped explain some of those big picture ideas. Thanks for watching.